Yeah, let's get into what a dramatic Tour de France this was. One of the best Tour de France's in decades, honestly. Again, we are rebroadcasting this for our viewers in Canada, where we will have daily highlights and content around the Tour de France over the next 3 weeks during our rebroadcast for all of our viewers worldwide. This race was all about Julian Alaphilippe. You know, I was cutting the footage for his attack on stage 3, where he took the yellow jersey. And just like classic Alaphilippe style. I mean, this is only a 1 kilometer climb, steep, 12% average gradient. But when Alaphilippe attacks, I mean, he's gone. He 20, 30 seconds over the top of the hill in just a matter of a few hundred meters. And then to hold that over the course of the next 15 kilometers, expand his gap and take the yellow jersey, that ride, that stage 3 ride in and of itself is incredible. But then the way he went on through this tour captivated not only France, but captivated cycling fans around the world, from a swashbuckling attack on stage 6, grabbing time bonuses and escaping with Thibaut Pinot. You go on to stage 10 when he's ripping on the front of the field, ripping the peloton apart in the crosswinds. Goes on stage 13, shocks everybody, winning the individual time trial, and then follows that up the next day on the Tourmalet, finishing just 6 seconds behind his compatriot Thibaut Pinot. At that point, with a week left in this tour, everybody believed Julian Alaphilippe could hang on to this yellow jersey and potentially win the Tour de France. If not in 2019, he has the ability to win the Tour de France moving forward. And that's what we're talking about today. Should Julian Alaphilippe focus on the Tour de France, starting with 2020? If you have Julian Alaphilippe on your team and you want to win the Tour de France, which I think he can win the Tour de France this year, and he should try to win the Tour de France this year, you need to go all in. I mean, you look at the way Jumbo-Visma is stacking their roster, sending Tom Dumoulin, Kruijswijk, and Roglic all to the Tour. You look at Team Ineos, Egan Bernal, Chris Froome, Grant Thomas. If you're Deceuninck Quickstep and Julian Alaphilippe, you're no longer an underdog. You don't come to the Tour and say, hey, we'll see how it goes. You need to be accumulating your resources, putting as much into Julian Alaphilippe as you can, and going for it. If there was ever a year Julian Alaphilippe can win the Tour de France and should try to win the Tour de France, this is the year, because ostensibly there's nothing else on the calendar this year that matters. I mean, there's going to be a lot of exciting races, but it's all going to be about the Tour de France.
I just want to apologize on the behalf of Ian to Sam Bennett, who's watching right now. Of course, he's going to want to go to the Tour to try to win stage wins. They hired him to try to win sprint stages for Deceuninck Quickstep. Deceuninck hired him over the offseason, try to do that. They're developing this other rider, Ian, you may have heard of him. His name's Remco Evenepoel, and he's going to the Giro this year, but he has the potential, some are saying, to be as famous as this another Belgian you might have heard of, Eddie Merckx. So I don't know if Julian Alaphilippe is that guy to finally give Patrick Lefevere a Tour de France overall victory. They dabbled in it for years with Bob Jungels and even Levi Leipheimer, the American, way back when, and they've done different things. Rigoberto Urán, many different riders have been through that team. I don't think it's going to be Julian Alaphilippe, though, to do it.
It might not be. It might not be.
Silence.
But you left me speechless there for a second. I was collecting myself. It should be. That's all I'm saying. Julian Alaphilippe needs to commit to winning the Tour de France and go for it, because you don't win the Tour de France by mistake.